You're not a failure. You're a coward. Stop blaming the world for feeling miserable. Stop pointing fingers at your boss, ex, or that friend who made it while you're still stuck. You're not drowning because life's unfair. You're sinking because you're too scared to swim. Look at yourself. Really look. That gnawing in your chest, it's not defeat. It's fear. Fear of fighting. Fear of standing up. Fear of what you could become if you stopped whining and started acting. Nietzsche saw through this a century ago. He'd sneer at you and call you weak, not because you've lost, but because you've surrendered. So what's it going to be? Another night of self-pity? Or battle with yourself? How many times did you lie awake last night, replaying every mistake, every missed chance? When was the last time you felt alive? Like you were in the driver's seat of your life? You feel so miserable, you're scavenging for hope in self-help books, YouTube gurus, or some overpriced success course, anything to dull the ache. Of course, failure hurts. It stings like a blade. It twists in your gut. Your project crashed and burned. That loan you took for the business you poured your soul into, gone. Now you've got no company, no cash, just a pile of regrets and a bank account mocking you with zeros. You flip through social media and see some guy flaunting his wins. New car, big house, perfect life. And it's like a kick to the ribs. But here's the ugly truth. The world didn't do this to you. You did. You let yourself go soft. You let the pain win. Nietzsche wouldn't coddle you. He'd say this mess is your starting line, if you've got the guts to run. Men today aren't just lost. They're volunteering for extinction. You're not drowning. You're kneeling in the shallows, begging the tide to finish you. You're living in a world where manhood has been reduced to a meme, a hollowed-out husk of TikToks, flex culture, and performative grind. But this isn't progress. It's disempowered by convenience. The old codes weren't perfect, but they had teeth. Teeth that could bite into purpose, tear through apathy. A man knew his role: build, fight, protect. Now, you're told to be vulnerable, but only in ways that don't threaten the system. Cry in therapy, but keep consuming. Share your feelings, but never question why you're starving for meaning. Build a family? The system mocks you. Build a legacy? The algorithm buries you. Nietzsche called this resentment, the rot of blaming others for your own decay. You see it everywhere. Men raging at feminists instead of fixing their lives. Isolated echo chambers full of bitterness rather than discipline. Keyboard warriors lashing out at the elites while stuffing with whatever comfort they can order online. Nietzsche knew what he meant when he said, "The man of resentment is neither sincere nor naive, nor honest and straightforward with himself. His soul squints." Let that sink in. Your rage at the world isn't righteous. It's a deflection, a coward's way to avoid the mirror. You're not fighting a culture war. You're losing a silent war against your own potential. Here's the kicker. Weakness has become a drug. Men mainline victimhood like it's oxygen. The economy's rigged. Women are too picky. Nobody gets me. Nietzsche would sneer at your excuses, not with contempt, with pity. You're not oppressed. You're addicted to comfort. Comfort is your cage, your pacifier, your slow-acting poison. You'd rather rot in a basement playing Call of Duty than face the truth. You've never been tested. Not really. Not in the way that matters. Not with a broken bone or a shattered ideal. Look at Andrew Tate, the Pied Piper of modern male despair, a clown in a crown, dancing on the graves of boys who traded spines for slogans, strutting like a peacock, selling alpha fantasies to boys who've never tasted real struggle. He sells boys a fantasy. Flashy cars, bug-eyed glares, and the illusion of control. But strip away all that, and what's left? A man so terrified of insignificance, he built a cathedral to his own insecurity. Nietzsche warned of this. The surest way to corrupt a youth is to instruct him to hold in higher esteem those who think alike than those who think differently. Tate's alpha dogma isn't rebellion, it's conformity with a sneer. Peacocks don't conquer jungles, they preen. Men who move mountains don't have time to flex. Your despair isn't a death sentence, it's a wake-up call. Stop, breathe, listen. That gnawing emptiness, it's proof you're alive, proof you're hungry. Hunger is your compass. Emptiness is your invitation. But you're mistaking hunger for helplessness. The crisis isn't your lack of purpose, it's your refusal to hunt, to stalk meaning through the dark, to bleed for something bigger than your ego. True greatness demands you bleed for your ideals, embrace discomfort as your forge, and reforge your will against every obstacle. Only then will you reclaim the scoreboard you've abandoned, and finally stand as a man worthy of the name. Away from that, you think nihilism is the end. If nothing matters, why try? Wrong. Dead wrong. Nietzsche didn't fear nihilism. He weaponized it, turned it into a scalpel to cut out the rot of delusion. Here's the truth they're too scared to tell you. Life is a blank page soaked in gasoline. No destiny, no divine plan, just ash and possibility. The modern world wants you to fear this, to cling to pre-chewed scripts like a toddler to a pacifier. Get the job, buy the house, chase the promotion. But these aren't goals, they're pacifiers. Nietzsche said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." Your why isn't handed to you, it's clawed from the void. Nihilism isn't your prison, it's your skeleton key. When you realize no one's keeping score, you're free to rewrite the rules. That soul-sucking 9 to 5 is a cage because you let it be. Nietzsche's will to power isn't about dominating others. It's about colonizing your own potential. Your job isn't your identity. It's clay, not the kind you mold, the kind you hurl at walls to see what sticks. Mold it, hack it, turn it into a training ground for your ambition. But you're stuck in a loop. Work, consume, sleep, repeat. You've confused existing with living. Let's get brutal. You're not a provider. You're a hostage, a cog in a machine that'd replace you before your body's cold. Nietzsche's fix? Stop worshipping the machine. Viktor Frankl, imprisoned in the depths of the camps, stripped of creed and comfort, and yet he emerged to write one of the most profound explorations of human purpose. Man's search for meaning, proving that even in the void, a man can carve a why powerful enough to outlive the horrors he endured. Nietzsche puts it best. No one can build you the bridge on which you, and only you, must cross the river of life. Nihilism asks you, what's your why? Not the canned crap from corporate retreats, the raw, bleeding purpose that keeps you up at night. No one's coming to anoint you, no cosmic pat on the head. It's just you, and the void, and the glorious freedom to build, to fail, to bleed, to rise, to burn so bright they'll need new gods to explain to you. Finding purpose is only half the fight. Now, how about suffering? What is your relationship with suffering like? You treat pain like the enemy. Pop a pill, numb the sting, bury it under endless binges. Every attempt at erasure only makes the ache more insistent, lurking at the edges of your mind until it demands release. Amor fati, love your fate, isn't feel-good fluff. It's a declaration of war. Suffering isn't something to endure. It's fuel. Think of the sculptor. The chisel hurts the marble. Without that violence, there would be no masterpiece. It's the radical embrace of every hardship as raw material for your strength, not an irritant to be discarded. That which does not kill us makes us stronger. You have probably heard this quote by Nietzsche 1,000 times, but you've misread this. It's not about surviving, it's about metamorphosis. This crucible of suffering doesn't just harden your exterior, it refines your character at the core. There are two kinds of men. One, the whiner, wails, "Why me?" as life kicks his teeth in. Two, the alchemist, grins, bloodied, and mutters, "What can I make from this?" Your ex left you? Good. Let it temper you. Let it burn away neediness. Your business imploded? Better. Now you've got scars and a PhD in what not to do. These blowouts become your curriculum vitae of resilience, stamped into your bones. History's giants weren't spared pain. They consumed it. Van Gogh channeled madness into starry nights. Dostoevsky turned exile into literature. Even Nietzsche said, "One must still have chaos in oneself to give birth to a dancing star." They didn't wait for inspiration to strike. They found it in the marrow of their wounds. Your suffering is a forge. The question is, will you let it melt you or mold you? Modern men have forgotten how to bleed. They outsource struggle to therapists, meds, and self-care routines. Listen carefully. Your remedy is to lean into the blade. Let rejection carve you sharper. Let failure teach you tactics. Let loneliness become your sanctuary. Here's the paradox. The more you run from pain, the smaller you become. The more you embrace it, the more you expand. Your darkest hour isn't the end, it's the anvil. Pain is the axis around which your growth revolves. Seek its center, and you expand your horizons. Now, hammer yourself into something harder. You've tattooed failure across your psyche. Let's cut to it. You're not a loser, you're a liar. The loser label isn't a fact, it's a shield. An excuse to stay small. Nietzsche's Übermensch isn't some chiseled demigod. He's the man who stares into his own abyss and laughs. He's the addict who quits, the bankrupt who rebuilds, the cuckold who learns to love himself. Become who you are, but first, you must destroy who you pretend to be. This is Nietzsche's mandate. You're obsessed with success hype, Instagram moguls, TikTok flexers, LinkedIn hustlers. But you're missing the plot. Their highlight reels are distractions. Your real enemy isn't their success, it's your self-betrayal. Self-overcoming isn't about grand gestures. It's the daily grind of choosing harder. According to Nietzsche, the individual has always had to struggle to keep from being overwhelmed by the tribe. If you try it, you will be lonely often and sometimes frightened, but no price is too high to pay for the privilege of owning yourself. Every time you choose comfort over growth, you die, just a little. Nietzsche didn't preach self-love. He demanded self-ownership. Look at the addict who clawed his way to sobriety, the bankrupt entrepreneur who started over at 50. These aren't success stories. They're blueprints. Your past isn't a prophecy. It's kindling. Burn it. Warm your hands. Then build a new fire. The loser is a costume. Strip it off. Stand naked, raw, flawed, alive. Nietzsche's challenge isn't to win, it's to fight. To keep swinging long after the crowd's left. So here's the brutal part. The moment you stop nodding and start moving. These next 3 steps aren't suggestions. They're your lifeline out of the pit, so grab them and climb. Step 1. Stop dreaming. Start doing. Dreams are a luxury for kids, not for a man. Past 40 who's still stuck, planning, like life's some endless dress rehearsal waiting for the perfect moment that never comes. Pick one goal, Narrow it down to a single, clear target instead of juggling a handful to pretend you're productive. And write it out so it's real. Then break it into 3 concrete actions you can tackle today, not tomorrow or whenever you feel ready, because waiting is just fear in disguise. Action cuts through regret like a blade, far sharper than any motivational nonsense you've been feeding yourself. And if you don't move now, you're just piling more dirt on the grave of what-ifs you'll take to your deathbed. Start today or admit you're too scared to face failing again. Step 2. Face the mirror. Quit lying. You're lying to yourself every day with that "I'm fine" nonsense, and it's eroding you from the inside like a slow poison you pretend not to taste. Go stand in front of a mirror, lock eyes with the man staring back, and force out the raw truth. I'm scared. I'm lazy. I'm lost. Letting the words hit you hard, feeling their weight sink in until it stings, because hiding behind lies keeps you soft and weak, while owning the ugly truth carves strength into your bones. Don't turn away or soften it. Embrace the mess you've been dodging, because the mirror won't lie to you, even if you've spent years lying to yourself. And until you stop pretending, you're just a fraud wearing a mask that's starting to crack. Step 3. Burn your crutch. Stand alone. Those crutches you lean on, alcohol, explicit content, endless self-pity, they're garbage propping up a man too afraid to stand tall without them. And it's time to quit one today, ripping it out of your life cold turkey with no weak-ass moderation excuses to soften the blow. Toss it aside like a weed strangling your roots. And yeah, you'll feel the shakes or even crack a little under pressure. That's not weakness. That's strength clawing its way to the surface after years of being smothered. Rely on nothing but your own damn spine from now on, because if you keep hobbling along with those crutches, you'll stay a crippled version of who you could be. And the clock's ticking louder every day. Choose to stand or limp through whatever's left. If you've made it this far, you're not just watching. You're ready to face the hard truths. Like this video and subscribe as proof that you're done with excuses, done with blaming the world, and ready to confront yourself. Drop a comment with that one thing you've had a quiet time confronting. That one thing that makes you feel like you've failed. And let's crush it together using the practical steps above. I'll see you in the next one.